so this is awesome. A bucket saver. This is just a liner, and this allows me to be able to mix everything and not have to worry about ruining a bucket. Any excess thinset that I don't use, I can just easily take out the next day. But we're gonna be using my favorite thinset, Ardex X5. Start out with a half a bag, but make sure you measure your water. Make sure that you're getting the right amount per bag. This is basically 6.5 quarts per bag. Let's protect our tub. This is made by Oatey, so you see it has like a nice little soft fleece at the bottom. But this is great for being able to easily slip this into your tub. And now it's well protected. Let's just see what the actual tub reads here. Through 7 3/4, 7 3/4. So if you have your tub completely level, it really makes this easy. Now I am going to be using a laser just to give myself a little bit of reference here. But as far as troweling, really for this type of size tile, you know, I mean, it really depends on how thick your tile is and then what kind of coverage you're actually getting. But a 1/4 by 1/4 would probably be sufficient, like for a tile this size. Now they do make a Euro notch trowel. This is pretty much my favorite one. This one you can see have all these different ridges on it. So this will give you a little bit, you know, a more bigger application of the thinset. But a 1/4 by 1/4 definitely is probably sufficient for this. We'll go ahead and start out with the 1/4 by 1/4, see what kind of coverage we're getting. And then if we are not getting what we want to see, then we'll just move up to the next trowel. But you really need to have a couple of trowels on hand just in case you're not getting that coverage. The other thing that we're going to be using is a leveling system. This is from Place for Pros. So if you guys know Winnie Designs, he has a storefront, Place for Pros, that you can get all these clips for. So I just got the 1/16 inch clips, and it's just basically a wedge and clip system. This is going to help really kind of put everything together. Kind of, in my mind, it's like a glorified spacer because it basically holds everything together. But the most important thing is that you're getting good, eliminating any lippage in between the tiles. So, you know, on a small tile like this, it really shouldn't be too cumbersome to overcome lippage in any way. So in a lot of ways, it's just kind of a glorified spacer on this project. But either way, the leveling clips are definitely going to make it a lot easier for you. Now, the other thing I have is these horseshoe spacers. This is going to help me get a little space on the first row of tile or anywhere that I need to actually kind of bump it out. Another tool that's really helpful is to have one of these little scraper tools. This helps move the tile around, and you'll see me using this periodically just to move the tile and also to scrape out any excess thinset. So let's go ahead and get this first row up, make sure that it stays level, and since we already have it templated, we should be able to just towel pretty quickly with it. So you can see that this thinset is a really good non-sag quality thinset. It's very thick consistency. This makes a world of difference compared to a lot of the cheaper brand thinsets that are very grainy. This has more of like a fluffy consistency. But the big thing about this is that it's a non-sag. So once you basically set your towel, it's not gonna it's not gonna move as much as what you would have if we had a cheaper type of thinset. That's why I like it so much. The other thing about Ardex is it lasts a very long time. You'll get almost 3 hours of pot life. So if you didn't have all these cuts made, it's going to give you plenty of time to be able to do things and not have it all set up in your bucket. That was one of the first things when I started doing towel work. It was really, really frustrating when your thinset got really thick and it wasn't bonding well to the tile, and it was really hard to spread, and you're trying to cut things and then you just wasted an entire bag of thinset. So that's where this stuff, I mean, I very rarely, unless I basically mix too much, I very rarely ever waste any. It's always in workable order. So really worth the expense just to spend an extra 15 bucks on a bag. So first thing you want to do is just work the thinset into the substrate with the flat side of the trowel. And then you just do directional troweling. Through all these tiles, I would just back butter them so we can make sure that we get good coverage on these. And the first row of towel, you just want to at least get a space in between the tub and the wall. That's basically how it will be set. So we can pull these out, just check to see what we're getting here. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty good. You can see that all suctioning off like that. That's definitely some good coverage. So you won't have any problem with using a 1/4 x 1/4 for this size tile. One thing about Hexagon is you have to pay attention to all the minute subtleties. So, you can see my laser come straight across here. Everything looks good there. Pay attention to all your joints. Make sure that they're basically the same width. Now, you're gonna have a little bit of variation with some of these tiles. Nothing extreme. That's definitely something you want to check out when you first get your tile. Is just to make sure, get a whole handful of them. Make sure they're about all the same size. So even like this one here, I mean, they're pretty good, but like it's a fraction. It's like a 32nd maybe here, maybe a 32nd here. So they kind of vary slightly. And any little bit of deviation can really get out of control with some of these. Now I've installed some hexagonal tiles that were wildly off, like an 1/8 inch off. And my goodness, what a nightmare putting them together. Like I literally had to throw away the ones that were slightly bigger because it just wasn't going to line up. And the recommendation on a grout joint like that, if you had a variation of say like a 1/16, is to actually have 3 1/16 inch grout joints, which is really thick. We're striving for about, I mean, these are 1/16 inch grout spacers on here, but we're actually going to get a little bit more than that. And I'm fine with that. I would say, we're going to be 3/32 or something like that on it, and I'm fine with that. I just don't want to get above an 1/8 inch. I just personally like having tighter grout joints. But if you did have a lot of variation, you want to go 3 times whatever that variation is, so that you can be able to place them and not make them look too far off. But we're basically like a 32nd. So if we stay with 3/32, which isn't much bigger than what this 1/16 inch grout joint is, we should be in good shape. But you have to pay attention to every subtlety. If anything's a little slightly off or not meeting correctly, it's just going to get worse as you go up the wall. So I don't know if you can zoom in there. So you can see this little deviation right here. Basically, this is a little bit slightly above this corner of this hexagon, and you can see how much higher it went on this one. So it's really intensified. So I need to cut this guy down a little bit in order to bring everything down. I can't. Yeah, that's good. So I would really advise the next morning to remove all of the leveling clips before the thinset gets completely hardened and really difficult to remove out of the joints. That's one thing about leveling clips or any type of leveling system. It's just going to be the punishment of using it is having thinset that kind of sticks in between the joints that you have to scrape out. Now, when you use a rubber mallet, just hit those clips with the joint and they should snap off. Now, there is going to be an occasional one that doesn't completely come off, and you just want to use a utility knife and cut that down an 1/8 inch behind the grout joint. And then I use that linoleum knife to really scrape out all the joints, and then I scrub everything with a grout type of cleaner so that I can really make sure that all the thinset's off the surface. But it is really well worth the effort for a leveling system. It's amazing how beautifully flat it can make it, and it's definitely something that would be a challenge doing it without it. So definitely highly recommend the leveling system, even though it takes a little bit of time to make it work. So if you're considering doing a bathroom renovation like this, definitely check out my course. This is just one tutorial out of many tutorials that I have in a step-by-step guidance, basically going through the entire process of the bathroom remodel, breaking it down into step-by-step tutorials that will be able to give you the confidence and the ability to do something like this. I break it down so that it's easy for you to find the answers that you're looking for, because this is a complex project, and each task, there's definitely a lot of different things to go through. So I have all the links of all the products that I'm using in this video, and along with being able to help you personally. If you have any questions about your own bathroom, you can leave me a comment in any of one of the tutorials, and I'm more than happy to help you out. So I hope to see you in the course. It'll definitely streamline your bathroom renovation project, and I'll see you in the next video.